Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. We are going to start IELTS reading module. Be attentive and alert. Students usually ask me a question, what is the difference between academic reading and general training reading? Well, there is only one difference. Questions are same in academic reading as well as in general training reading. Only passages, the nature of passages, that is different. In academic reading, we have passages which are based on science, research, technology, and there are 3 long passages. In general training reading part 1, there are 2 short passages. Part 2, there are 2 short passages. But part 3 of academic reading and general training reading, both are same. Okay, and there is one more difference, marking. For GT reading, if you get 30 correct answers, you get 6 band. In academic reading, if you get 23 correct answers, you get 6 band. Okay, 23 correct answers, 6 band in academic reading. And in general training reading, 30 correct answers and you get 6 band. So with 30 correct answers in academic reading, you get 7 band. Okay, so those who need 8777, they need 34 correct answers in general training reading. Okay, now, through this test, I'm going to demonstrate a complete method how you should do IELTS reading. So you should follow that. And remember, reading takes time to develop. It's not that today you attend this session and after that you are perfect and all that. It's just like cooking. You learn to cook biryani. Then you cook it once, twice, 5, 10, 8, 20, 50 times. Then you are perfect. Then you can just make it. So you need to solve tests, right? At least before your exam, you should try to solve 30 to 50 tests. Academic reading or general training reading, whatever. And you can solve them from Cambridge IELTS books, okay? But the pattern I'm going to give you, I don't want you to do reading haphazardly and you don't know what to do. You don't have understanding. You do blind reading. Blind reading means you don't know and just reading the question and you go to the, you don't know whether to read the questions first or the passage first. What type of questions are type A, type B and all that, okay? Now, the first thing is you're going to read the title of the passage, Bringing Cinnamon to Europe. Now, do you know cinnamon? And by the way, if you don't know, there is no problem. Bringing cinnamon to Europe means cinnamon is something they brought it to Europe. What do we call cinnamon in Urdu? It's darchini. It's not, elaichi is cardamom. Yeah, all right? So, bringing cinnamon to Europe. Now, the whole passage, I mean, from the title, we understand they will talk about bringing cinnamon to Europe, who brought it, how it was brought, where it was cultivated, and all that stuff, right? So you need to switch on your imagination. Right after reading the title, if there is a subtitle, read subtitle as well of the passage, right? And if the passage is without title, then read the first few lines of first paragraph, okay? Now we come to questions. Questions 1 to 9. Complete the notes below. Listen and remember all completion type of questions. Notes completion, paragraph completion, sentence completion, summary completion, flowchart completion, diagram completion. We call them type A questions. And what is type A? Where questions and answers are in order. And you should know only 2 type B questions. Number 1, list of headings. Number 2, which paragraph contains the following information. They are type B. Otherwise, we have type A questions. Questions and answers are going to be in order. And by the way, question will give you the clue. And you have to search or scan for that clue in the passage. Now, I would like to tell you a few essential things before I start this test. There are 3 types of reading, or for IELTS reading, we need 3 techniques. The first technique is what we call scanning. Very important one. Why? Because when you read the question, you find a clue word. To find that clue word in the passage, for that we actually use scanning technique. When you scan, you don't read. You are only looking for some specific information, right? For example, if there is a passage and I say, okay, please come to the second page of your paragraph, passage, second page of the passage. Find the word Dutch. Dutch. Excellent, excellent, very good. Now find the word 1796, the number. 1796, last paragraph. Now please find 1518. Now what are you doing? Scanning. You are not reading. Okay, when students don't know the difference between scanning and reading, then they read everything. And when they read everything, they fail to manage their time. So first of all, it's scanning. Scanning will take you to the right part of the passage. Right part of the passage, first it will be a paragraph. Second, it will be the sentence that contains your answer. So if through scanning you reach that part, your time will be managed automatically. You know, you say, I can't manage my time. Those who cannot manage their time, they waste their time. Where do they waste their time? Answer is in first paragraph, they read second paragraph. Answer is in first paragraph, first sentence, they read all the paragraph, and then they go back to first sentence, or then they go back to question. So this happens when you are not clear about the question, or this happens when you're reading comprehension. Reading comprehension means what you read you don't understand. All of us can read English, but what we understand from that reading, that depends on your reading comprehension. Okay, so you need to focus your reading comprehension. This is scanning. After scanning, second is skimming. Now, what is skimming? Skimming is to read something quickly. I can quote you a very good example. For example, you are leaving your home. You've got only a couple of minutes and there is that newspaper you want to go through. So what do? You go through the headlines of the newspaper, just read a couple of news, then you turn the page over, you read a couple of news, and in 5 minutes, you are done with the newspaper. What do we call it? Skimming. You don't read everything. You only read what you want to. So we need skimming for list of headings. Skimming is required when we do list of headings of the paragraph. Okay, now third is careful reading, which is very, very essential. Once you locate the paragraph and the line where there is the answer, now you have to read that sentence very, very carefully, each and every word with full attention, full concentration, right? So this is the third thing: skimming, scanning, and careful reading. And I would advise you to improve your reading comprehension, number one. Number two, for every IELTS reading question type, you should know the plan. I call it action plan. For example, we are doing sentence completion. What is the action plan? Read the question, find the clue word, go to the passage, look for the clue word, find the answer, and go on. Okay, and you should know what are type A questions and what are type B questions. So we should begin. The early history of cinnamon. Biblical times. Now, what's the clue word here? Biblical time. And by the way, when they say early history, always remember the first 7 questions. Now we have 9, luckily. If there are more questions, sentence completion or this completion, you're lucky. You can do them in a good way. Otherwise, 1 to 6, 1 to 7, most of the time the answers start from first or second paragraph. And the first answer will take time to find. Once you find one answer, you have to read on and on and on. This is good for type A questions. Now let's see. Can you just see anything like biblical times? Absolutely, right? Now, after locating biblical times, we have not read the question yet. Now we come back to the question. Early history of cinnamon. Now keep in mind, everything you are going to read that is about cinnamon. Okay? So, biblical times, added to dash. Look here. Added to dash means cinnamon was added to something. Cinnamon was added, or for added they use the word mixed. Now let's go back. Let's do it together. Biblical times, third line. Everyone please follow me. Biblical times, and is mentioned in several books of the Bible, both as an ingredient that was mixed with. Now tell me, what is the word for that? That was mixed. That was big. Mixed means cinnamon was mixed with oil. So added to and mixed with, they are synonyms. Well, listen, one thing I want to tell you. From every question, you have to learn one thing. From here, added to and mixed with. Okay, one word we learned, added to, and another one is mixed with. Answer is, and in IELTS reading, you have to copy paste the answer. If answer is singular, write singular word. If it is plural, write plural word. Now we go on. Used. What was used? Cinnamon. Used to show dash between people. Now we read on. I'm reading on. After this, oils for anointing people's bodies. And also as a token indicating friendship among lovers and friends. Now what is the word for people? Aha, lovers and friends. So token, indicating. What is the word for indicating? Show. Now indicating and show. And for people, lovers and friends. So the answer is friendship. Got it? Every time you find the answer, you have to just do this X-ray. What is the word before? What is the word in the question? What is the synonym of that word in the passage? And then you learn. This is how your IELTS reading skill will improve. So the answer is? Okay. Ancient Rome. What's the clue word? And as I said, answers are going to be in sequence here. Used for its sweet smell. It means cinnamon. Cinnamon has got the sweet smell. So cinnamon was used for its sweet smell at dash. Now let's go back. Ancient Rome. Very next line. Okay, you can just see it there. All right. Good. So let's read on. In ancient Rome, everyone please with me. In ancient Rome, mourners attending funerals burnt cinnamon to create a pleasant scent. Now, what is the answer? In ancient Rome, mourners attending funerals burnt cinnamon. So, where did they burn cinnamon? On funerals. Absolutely. To create a pleasant scent. Come back. What is the word for sweet smell? Pleasant scent. Very good. And what will be the answer? Funerals. Used for its sweet smell at funerals. Okay. Now, one more thing. Some people have this problem. They locate the right sentence in the passage, but they write wrong answer. For example, if we are here, some of you will think mourner is the right answer. Some will think attending is the right answer. So I tell you how to check whether your answer is right or wrong. Okay, for instance, if we just put the word, question number 3, used for its sweet smell at mourners. Does it make any logical sense? So the wrong answer will not make logical sense. That's what you have to see. If you want to make sure whether your answer is right or wrong, read the sentence with the word you put there. Right? But some people are extra intelligent. Even the wrong words will make sense to them. They will say, oh, yeah. And then they sit like. Okay? So the answer is funerals. Now, what do we use on funerals, by the way? What do we use on funerals? We use rose water. Have you ever noticed rose water we use on funerals? Yeah. Okay, leave it. Reminds me something funny. So, let's go on. Middle Ages, added to food, especially meat. Now, what's the clue word? Middle Ages. Was an indication of a person's. Indication of a person's. Now, where are Middle Ages? Okay. Absolutely. In Middle Ages, now after, and you can see it's a long paragraph now. Middle Ages, and then they say, was an indication, added to food, especially meat, was an indication of a person's. Now let's read on. Middle Ages, meat is there. It means your answer is after meat. So listen, this is how you can avoid excessive reading. Because meat is already there in the question, now you will read after meat. And to impress those around them with their ability to purchase an expensive condiment from the exotic East. At a banquet, a host would offer guests a plate with various spices piled upon it as a sign of wealth at his or her disposal. Sign of wealth. Was an indication of a person's wealth is the right answer, right? And what is the word for person? Host. Host is for person, okay? You can, listen, just solve the test, and when you do debriefing on your own, then you can find all these words, and even if you want to make a note of these words in your diary, you can do that as well. Okay, question number 5. Known as a treatment for. Treatment means illness. Treatment means disease. So, known as a treatment for dash and other health problems. Come back. Can you see any health problem? Last line of first paragraph. Cinnamon was also reported to have health benefits. And now, what is the word for health benefits? Have they used any? Yeah, known as treatment. Treatment and health benefits. Okay. Health benefits, and was thought to cure various ailments such as indigestion. So, come back. Known as a treatment for indigestion and other health problems. Now, listen. Some of you will think ailments is the right answer. Now, tell me why not? Because for ailments, they have written the word and other health problems. So other health problems are covered by ailments, and the right answer is indigestion. All good? Yeah, darchini ka kehwa. Okay, it's good for digestion if you got indigestion problem. So far so good. Now have you noticed in one paragraph we found 5 answers, and you can comfortably do this in 5 minutes. Can you? Yeah, it's not that difficult if you're going to do it on your own, right? Now, let's go on. Question number 6. Grown in. Very simple. Where is it grown, or where is cinnamon grown? Now, let's go on to the next paragraph. Grown in. It can be the name of a country or city or, yeah. European middle classes began to desire the lifestyle. Please come to next line. This led to a growth. Now the word is here, growth in demand for cinnamon and other spices. At that time, cinnamon was transported by Arab merchants who closely guarded the scent of the source, secret of the source of the spice from potential rivals. They took it from India. Now they took it from India means it was grown in India. Answer is India. Yeah, if you're from India, comment this video, huh? I know. So, cinnamon was grown in India and they took it from India. Now, you understand the difference? Grown in India and took it from India. Okay, merchants used dash to bring it to the Mediterranean, source of transportation. For example, merchants used trucks to bring it to Mediterranean. Merchants used horses to bring it to Mediterranean. So what source did they use for that? Let's read on. Good. They took it from India where it was grown on camels via an overland route to the Mediterranean. Okay, so if you read and understand the question, and understanding the question means you know answer is going to be a source of transportation. Answer is going to be a location where cinnamon is grown. So if you read and understand the question like this, then finding the answer is going to be easier. So the answer is camels. Who said Sir Camel? Huh? Sir is not camel, Sir is elephant. Question number 8. Arrived in the Mediterranean at, now listen, area or the name of that port where it was arrived. Arrived in the Mediterranean at. Let's go back. Camels via an overland route to the Mediterranean. Their journey ended when they reached Alexandria. Okay, so answer is Alexandria. You should be happy and enjoy. Don't worry, we have part 3 also. Abhi jaan niklegi sabki. Thehar ji, आधा घंटा ठहर जी, हाँ? So correct answer is, and please copy the spelling of Alexandria. It's not that you write the wrong spelling and then right answer will be wrong. In IELTS reading, even if you have poor spelling, that doesn't matter. You know why? The words will be written in the passage. You just have to copy and paste it. But copy ध्यान से कर लेना. बाकी आपकी मर्जी. Doesn't matter. All capital. First capital, rest small, all small, there is no problem. Listening same, but not in writing. Okay? Yeah. So let's go on. Question number 9. Traders took it to dash and sold it to destinations around Europe. Now listen, there was one point where traders took it and from there it went to different parts of Europe. So traders took it to dash. Let's go back. Traders took it to dash. Okay, so then they say traders sailed there to purchase their supply of cinnamon. They bought it back to Venice. All right, and now let's read on. Let's read on. The spice then traveled from the great trading city to markets all around Europe. So from where? From Venice. Answer is Venice. Okay, is this clear to everyone? All right, so you should do debriefing. What is the answer? Where is the answer? Why this is the answer? And all that. Thank you. Okay. All right, guys. Now we have true, false, not given or not given. True, false, not given. Okay, no problem. Listen, in true, false, not given, they check your ability whether you can identify synonyms, antonyms, and something which is not mentioned. Synonyms for true, antonyms for false, and they can be synonyms like the words or phrases. Antonyms can also be words or phrases, and then they don't mention one thing. So in true, false, not given, the whole trick is hidden in the question. So it is important to read and understand the question, and in the question you need to highlight once one word or one phrase that this is the phrase which is going to decide the answer as true, false, or not given. I tell you how. Question number 10. Portuguese had control over the cinnamon trade in Ceylon throughout the 16th century. Underline throughout the 16th century. So, Portuguese had control over the cinnamon trade in Ceylon. Now, you can use if sentence. If Portuguese had control over cinnamon trade in Ceylon throughout 16th century. Throughout 16th century means all 16th century. Then answer is true. If they had control half of 16th century or 3/4 of 16th century, then answer is false. And if they don't tell us whether that was for 16th century, half, full, or whether that is Portuguese or someone else, then the answer is not given. Now let's look for Portuguese. Next page, first paragraph. See that, what do we call it? Scanning. Through scanning, we reach the right part where there is the answer. Okay, I'm going to read it from second line. In 1518, the Portuguese built a fort on Ceylon. Ceylon is also your clue word. And by the way, when you're doing IELTS reading, don't worry about your pronunciation. No one is listening to you. You're doing it in your heart. And don't even do lip sync when you're doing IELTS reading. It's not allowed in the exam, okay? So, which enables them to protect the island, so helping them to develop a monopoly in the cinnamon trade and generate very high profits. In the late 16th century, for example, they enjoyed tenfold profit. Now, first is 1518. And then they say late 16th century, for example, they enjoyed. So, the whole thing is in 1518, Portuguese built a fort which enables them to protect the island, so helping them to develop a monopoly in the cinnamon trade and generate very high profits. And in the late 16th century, for example, they enjoyed a tenfold profit when shipping cinnamon over a journey of 8 days from Ceylon to India. Now, this word here, late 16th century. So, what will be the answer? True. Why true? Why? Yeah, start to end. Okay, this is confusing. Let's go on. Next line, please. When the Dutch arrived off the coast of southern Asia at the very beginning of 17th century. Now you find the answer. Okay, so Dutch arrived by the beginning of 17th century. Now just think, 15, 18, and then 17th century. How many years does it make? A century, because they mentioned here the 16th century. So Dutch arrived in 17th century. So on 16th century or in 16th century, Portuguese had control over the cinnamon trade in Ceylon throughout the 16th century. Answer is True. Why true? Listen carefully. Because in 17th century, the Dutch arrived. And then they will say they had the control and all that. So during 16th century, Portuguese, they had the control. Now, how we found the answer? One line from the first paragraph, and then when the Dutch arrived, this is also connected with it. So that is why we found the right answer. When the Dutch arrived off the coast of Southern Asia at the very beginning of 17th century. So that means 16th century Portuguese, they had the control over that, right? Answer is true. Let's go on. Question number 17, please. The Dutch took over the cinnamon trade from Portuguese. Now, clue word, Dutch and Portuguese. Dutch took over cinnamon trade from Portuguese as soon as they arrived. Look at me, look at me, look. Understanding the question is more important. As soon as they arrived in Ceylon. Now, if they took over the control, immediately answer is true. If they took over the control after 10 years of their arrival, after 5 years of their arrival, they fought and then they took control and all that, then the answer will be false. Now, let's go back. When the Dutch arrived off the coast of Southern Asia at the very beginning of the 17th century, they set their sights on displacing the Portuguese as kings of cinnamon. The Dutch allied themselves with Candy and Island Kingdom on Ceylon. In return for payments of elephants and cinnamon, they protected the native king from Portuguese. By 1640, Dutch broke the 150-year Portuguese monopoly. Now, did they break that monopoly as soon as they arrived? No, after that they had a king and they talked to him, they offered him some elephants and all that. So it took them some time. So the answer is false. You understand? Yes. Now this is what you need to do. If you don't know what to see in true, false, not given, you will always end up guessing your answer. Guessing is very easy. True, false or not given. Not given. Why not given? Manu labbiya hi nahi. Okay. Why true? मेरा ख्याल है कि true होना चाहिए, okay? Yeah, like that. Or why true? Because I'm a positive guy. Yeah. Question number 12. Trees planted by Dutch. What's the clue word? Trees. Yes. Okay, listen. Deal with question number 10 separately and 11 separately. We'll talk about it later. Let's just go on. Let's go on. Question number 12. Trees planted by Dutch produced larger quantities of cinnamon than the wild trees. Underline larger quantities than wild trees. Now listen. One tree is that you plant. Second is wild tree. What is wild tree? It grows itself. Right? A plant or tree that grows itself. So they say the trees planted by Dutch produced larger quantities of cinnamon as compared to the wild trees. So if they produced larger quantities, they planted, answer is true. If the wild trees produced larger quantities, answer is false. And if they don't give any comparison, whenever there is comparative question in true, false, not given, you got to check this thing. If there is no comparison, then the answer is not given. Now please come back. Trees and they planted and all that. Second last paragraph. Okay, fourth line. Second last paragraph, fourth line. Over time, the supply of cinnamon trees on the island became nearly exhausted due to systematic stripping of the bark. Eventually, the Dutch began cultivating their own cinnamon trees to supplement the diminishing number of wild trees available for use. Have they given any comparison? Have they mentioned that the wild trees produced more cinnamon than the other one? No. So the answer is not given. Very good. Question number 13. Spice trade maintained its economic importance during the 19th century. Now look here. Spice trade. Which spice are we talking about? Cinnamon. So cinnamon trade maintained, or spice trade maintained its economic importance. Now listen, if in 19th century the spice trade maintained its economic importance, answer is true. If it lost its economic importance, answer is False. And if they don't tell us whether it lost or it had it, then the answer is not given. So economic importance and 19th century. Last paragraph, the third last line. Not only was monopoly, got it? Okay, not only was a monopoly of cinnamon becoming impossible, but the spice trade overall was diminishing. Now, diminishing and maintain. Opposite words, right? Come back to the question. Spice trade maintained its economic importance. There they say, they use the word trade spice overall was diminishing in economic potential. Answer is not given. False, absolutely false. चोर पकड़ना था, कोई भी नहीं आज माशाल्लाह सबको समझ आ रही है. So in true, false, not given, when you read the question, you need to identify the point or the word or the phrase which is going to decide the answer, and then you got to check that accordingly, right? Okay, thank you. When इसी के अंदर कमेटी निकले ना निकले व्याह कराना है. All right, let's go on. Okay, oxytocin. Oxytocin is what? Now we don't know what is oxytocin. They have given a sentence there. The positive and negative effects of the chemical known as the love hormone. So oxytocin is a hormone which is created in our body when we are happy, when we enjoy something. Someone talks to you about your matching or rishta and all that. Okay, that means there is oxytocin that is created. Or when you are happy, like someone suddenly says your visa is approved, you are excited, you create that hormone. So we also call it love hormone, right? Now you are more interested. I want to know about it. Okay? Yeah. And unfortunately, what's going on, there is a sort of addiction, which is oxytocin. They have created oxytocin and then they inject people, and the people who are injected with oxytocin, they're always happy. But this is a sort of addiction. Like, other addictions, drugs and all that. So this is one sort of very expensive addiction that some people are using. Anyways, now we go to questions. 14 to 17. Reading passage 2 has 6 paragraphs. Which paragraph contains the following information? Type A or B? B. Questions and answers will not be in order. So we will do it at the end. But yes, it's a good idea if you read the questions, underline important words. As you are solving other questions and you find a clue somewhere, so by the time you do other questions, if you read these questions, you can answer a couple of questions. Like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, but don't kill the birds. The birds are so beautiful, right? Then we've got questions 18 to 20. Look at the following research findings, questions 18 to 20, and the list of researchers below. Match each research finding with the correct researcher. How many researchers?
6.
And how many questions? 3. All right. Now, passage is not in the question order, but the passage is in the order of this list of researchers. I'll tell you how to deal with that. For the time being, we move on. And then we have questions 21 to 26. Complete the summary below. So, where would you start from? How many questions? 6 questions. Start from here. After that, you can go back to 14 to 17, and then finally you can come to 18 to 20. So you can have your own order. Don't follow the order of questions they have given. You can arrange your own order, rearrange that in your own order. Type 1 questions should be done first. So we start from questions 21 to 26, because here we are sure to get the right answers. So, oxytocin research. Complete the summary below. And how many summaries do we have? 2 summaries. 2 summaries means 2 locations. Complete the summary below. Choose 1 word only from the passage for each answer. Now, summary completion is same like any other completion type of questions. Questions and answers are in order. Okay, oxytocin research. We will find a paragraph where they are doing the research, and they say earliest findings about oxytocin. Now let's go back. It was through various studies. Studies means research. So answers will start coming from paragraph A. Got it? Paragraph A. All right. Now let's read the question. We know answer is there. Now we read the question. The earliest findings about oxytocin and bonding came from research involving, look here, whenever they say research involving means on what thing they did the research. Research involving animals, research involving human, research involving birds means they did the research on birds. And for research they commonly use the word studies. Now come back. First paragraph. Oxytocin is a chemical, a hormone produced in the pituitary gland in the brain. It was through various studies focusing on, now focusing on and involving. They are synonyms and the answer is, got it? Yeah, now we are doing part 2. Halki si khamoshi shuru ho gayi. Answer is, why animals? Focusing on animals and involving animals. That's the same thing. Let's go on. Next sentence. And by the way, don't expect the answers are going to be grouped together. They can be in the same paragraph, but you got to read on. So for every question, you will find the clue word. It was also discovered that humans produce oxytocin during dash. During means period. Humans produce oxytocin during that. Let's go on. I'm reading it from third line. They discovered that it helps. Where is the word human? Oh yes, women. Have you found the word? Women. So human, for that they can use the word men, women, children, people and all that. It's the fifth line. Found it? It is also released. Got it? Okay. It is also released by women in, now in and during, they are synonyms. And the answer is childbirth. Excellent. See, that's why the mothers are very happy when they give birth to their babies. They are very, very happy about it because they release oxytocin. So the answer is childbirth. And have you noticed during and in, they are synonyms. An experiment in 2005. What's the clue word? 2005. An experiment in 2005 in which participants were given either oxytocin or dash. Now they were given two things in 2005. One was oxytocin and other was dash. Let's go back. Second paragraph, first emerged in 2005. Now we got to see some participants were given oxytocin and some were given something else. That is our answer. So I'm reading it from the beginning. Oxytocin's role in human behavior first emerged in 2005. A groundbreaking experiment, and the name and his colleagues at the university asked volunteers to do an activity in which they could invest money. Okay, let's go on, guaranteed. The team found that participants who had sniffed oxytocin. Now just read carefully. Answer will come here. The team found that participants who had sniffed oxytocin via a nasal spray beforehand invested more money than those who received a placebo. Answer is, and even if you don't know the meaning of placebo, you can find the answer. Do you know what is placebo? Yes. We call it placebo effect as well. Right? You know, once a person, he was shown a cobra and then they pinned his leg. They pinned his leg and they told him that you've been stung by this cobra, and the person died. Okay, I don't know it's true or false or whatever, but anyway, this is called placebo. Placebo means, for example, like once in Nestle bottle, I put tap water. And I said, okay, this glass of water and this Nestle bottle, now please drink and tell me the difference. A person drank from Nestle bottle and water was tap water. It said, Nestle is Nestle. That is what we call placebo. Placebo effect, placebo, and all that. Okay? All right. So answer is placebo. And have you noticed sometimes it is not necessary that you know the meaning of the answer. You should only know how the function or what is the function of that very word over there, right? Now we go on, second paragraph. However, later research, means there is another research, suggests that this is not always the case. A study at University of Haifa. What is the clue word? University of Haifa. Where is it? Paragraph C, University of Haifa. Underline it and then come back and read the question. Listen, why don't I recommend you to read the question first hand? Because you will forget the question. So first only look at the question, locate a clue word in the question, come back and find that word in the passage, underline that area of the passage, and now you go back, you know where the answer is. Now you read the question carefully. Otherwise, you will read the question 2 times, and that will take more time, and your time management will be disturbed. So we found University of Haifa. Now we read the question. A study means research at University of Haifa, where participants took part in a... All right. Okay. All right. So please come to paragraph C. University of Haifa, Israel found that when volunteers played a competitive game. Now listen, some of you will think competitive is the right answer. Always remember, when the answer is a noun, with that they give a couple of adjectives to check your ability. And some students, what do? Instead of noun, they write adjective. For example, if they say a unique competitive game or an old unique competitive game. Now you say old is the answer, unique is the answer, competitive is the answer. No, answer is noun. Game is noun. Noun is the name of a person, place, thing, and adjective qualifies the noun. Adjective tells us the quality of noun. So the answer is game. Now take part. What is the word for take part? No, what is the word here for take part? Volunteers? Played. Played and take part. That is another synonym. So for question number 24, right answer is game. All right, let's go on. A study at the University of Antwerp. Now find University of Antwerp. Paragraph D. D for doctor. Okay? See that? Have you noticed? We are doing it very systematically. So when we do reading systematically, you know where to go, how to go, and all that. Found the university. Now we read the question. Okay. University of Antwerp showed people's lack of willingness to help dash. To help. Now listen, lack of willingness to help. For example, lack of willingness to help animals, to help people, to help that. Now help what? And for help, they might use the word assist or any other word. Let's go back. Paragraph D. University of this Belgium revealed that people who had received a dose of oxytocin actually became less cooperative when dealing with complete strangers. Less cooperative. What is the word for that? Less cooperative means lack of willingness to help. When you are less cooperative, that means there is the lack of willingness to help. So the answer is strangers. With complete strangers. Okay? Next we go on. Meanwhile, research at the University of, what's the clue word? University of Amsterdam. Where is it? Same paragraph. Okay. So let's go on. All right. Research at the University of Amsterdam revealed that people who have been given oxytocin consider dash that are familiar to them in their own country to have more positive association. Consider dash that are familiar to them. Come back. Okay, so University of Amsterdam in Netherlands, they say here, discovered that, mil gaya sabko? Yes. Discovered that volunteers given oxytocin showed favoritism. No, favoritism is not the answer. Please be careful. Dutch men became quicker to associate positive words with Dutch names than with foreign ones. Now, Dutch men became quicker to associate positive words with Dutch names than with foreign ones. Now, let's come back. For example, so, researcher at the University of Amsterdam revealed that people who have been given oxytocin, for that they use Dutch people, consider dash that are familiar to them. Dutch people, Dutch names. Pakistani people, Pakistani names. Indian people, Indian names. What does that mean? The names that are familiar to them. What is the word for familiar? Dutch people, Dutch names. You understand this? English people, English names, right? So please go back and read it again. Go back, read it again. They say Dutchmen became quicker to associate positive words with Dutch names. So Dutch names are actually the names which are familiar to them in their own country. They've mentioned in their own country to have more positive association. So answer is names, right? We are doing part 2. Part 3 will start soon. Okay, now we come back to questions. Shall we do 18 to 20 or 14 to 17? 14 to 17, no problem. If you want to do that, we can do 18 to 20 as well and all that. Let's start with 18 to 20. Okay, list of researchers. I want you to look for Marcus. Second paragraph, we have Marcus there. And remember one thing, questions and the passage, they are not in order. But the list is in order. So is it type A or B? No, it is still type A. Because list is in order. Whenever they give you list of scientists, list of researchers, so the passage is in the order of that list. So let's see. Paragraph B. Oxytocin's role in human behavior first emerged in 2005 in groundbreaking experiment. What does that mean? The first guy who ever started studying it, groundbreaking. When there is some research which is groundbreaking, no one has touched that area before. Groundbreaking experiment, Marcus Henrich and his colleagues at the University of Freiburg, Germany, asked volunteers to do this activity and all that. Please come back. Question number 18, people are more trusting when affected by oxytocin. Question number 19, oxytocin increases people's feeling of jealousy. Question number 20, effect of oxytocin varies from one type of person to another. So far, there is nothing. What does that mean? We need to read on. We have to read some more before we reach the answer. So they say, experiment, Marcus Henrich and colleagues at the University of Germany asked volunteers to do an activity in which they could invest money with an anonymous person who was not guaranteed to be honest. So what did they do? They asked volunteers to do an activity in which they could invest money with an anonymous person who was not guaranteed to be honest. The team found the participants who had sniffed oxytocin via nasal spray beforehand invested more money than those who received a placebo instead. Now let's go back. People are more trusting when affected by, does it make sense? Exactly. People are more trusting. Now please come back. Just read this line here. Asked volunteers to do an activity in which they could invest money with, and just leave this. The team found, read this sentence carefully. The team found that participants who had sniffed oxytocin via nasal spray beforehand invested more money. More money with whom? Anonymous person. The previous line, more money with anonymous person. When you spend more money with anonymous, the person you don't know, what does that mean? That means people are more trusting when affected by oxytocin. Question number 18, answer is A. Now, let's go on to option B, Simon. Simon Shame Tasuri. Simon, not Pasuri, Tasuri. All right, Simon. Paragraph C. Very good. Now let's read about Simon. Then after a few years, contrasting findings began to emerge. Simon Shame Pasuri at the University of Haifa, Israel, found that when volunteers played a competitive game, those who inhaled the hormone showed more pleasure when they beat other people. Now those who inhaled oxytocin, they showed more pleasure when they beat the other person and felt more envy. What is envy? Jealous, absolutely, when others won. Let's come back. Option, question number, oxytocin increases people's feeling of jealousy. So I think there is more oxytocin in ladies. Huh? Just joking, okay? Even gents have got this jealousy and all that. So what is the word for jealousy? Envy. Now, if you don't know envy and jealousy, you cannot answer this question, right? So that is why you should have good vocabulary. Question number 19, answer is B. Let's go on. C. Jennifer Bartz. Jennifer Bartz. Which paragraph? Where is Jennifer Bartz? C paragraph. Jennifer Bartz. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth last line. I'm reading from there. Jennifer Bartz from Mount Sinai School of Medicine, New York, found that it improves people's ability. It means oxytocin. Oxytocin, right? It improves people's ability to read emotions, but only if they are not very socially adept to begin with. Her research also shows that oxytocin reduces cooperation in subjects. What does it mean, subjects? Someone on which or on whom experiment was done, right? So who are particularly anxious or sensitive to rejection. Now just focus this thing. Found that it improves people's ability to read emotions, but only if they are not very socially adept to begin with. Her research also shows. Now let's come back. Jealousy is done, 18 is done, 19 is done, 20 is effect of oxytocin varies from one type of person to another. No. Okay. All right. No. Paragraph C. You said paragraph E, they talk about her again? Yes. What is it there? Bartz has recently shown that in almost half of the existing research results, oxytocin influenced only certain individuals. Wow. Yes. Certain individuals or in certain circumstances. Come back. The effect of oxytocin varies from one type of person to another. And what is the word for one type of person to another? Certain individuals. Absolutely. Yes, it's here. All right. So 18A, 19B, and 20C. That's the correct answer. Well, guys, now you are very well familiar with the passage and what is being discussed in the passage. So this is the right time to do which paragraph contains the following information. Remember, it's a very good idea that when you start a new passage, a new section, if there is the question type, which paragraph contains the following information, read the questions first. Underline important words. And if you come across any word, any idea there, it will ring a bell and then you can stop and answer this question and then go back to what you were answering before. One thing. Second, if you choose to do it without any other reference, then you need to have strong scanning skill. The first thing is when you read the question, you should be crystal clear what is it that I am looking for. Come back. Question number 14. Reference to research showing the beneficial effects of oxytocin in people. Now listen first. In one paragraph, they will talk about a research. They may talk about research in 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. But what in particular? In particular, beneficial effects of oxytocin on people. Now go back. Look for a paragraph where they give a reference to research showing the beneficial effects of oxytocin. Second paragraph. Last fourth line. All right, reference of research showing the beneficial effects of oxytocin on people. Last line of B paragraph? Okay, together the results, well done, excellent. Together, the research fueled the view that oxytocin universally enhanced the positive aspects of our social nature. Absolutely. This is the answer of question number 14. Got it? Everyone, paragraph B, last sentence. Together, the research fueled the view that oxytocin universally enhanced the positive aspects of our social nature. Reference to research showing the beneficial effects of oxytocin on people. So for question number 14, correct answer is B. Question number 15, reasons why the effect of oxytocin are complex. Look for a paragraph where they're giving reasons why the effects, no guessing, just scan. Why the effects of oxytocin are complex. Complex, perplexing. Complex and, yeah, it's paragraph F. Reasons why the effects of oxytocin are complex. Now let's come to paragraph F. Perhaps we should not be surprised that the oxytocin story has become more perplexing. And if you read on, they will give you the reason. The hormone is found in everything from octopus to sheep and its evolutionary root stretch. This. Then you read on, you will find more reason. It's a very simple and ancient molecule that has been co-opted and all that. You will find reasons. So for question number 15, correct answer is F. And the word complex and perplexing, the first line gave you the idea. Now we go on. Question number 16, please. Mention of a period in which oxytocin attracted little scientific attention. And that period should be in the beginning. Because after that, there was more attention. And you should know where answer is likely to be. Right? A period where oxytocin attracted little scientific attention. People did not pay any attention. Go back and find it. Paragraph B, why? Paragraph B, 7th line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For 8 years, right, that's right. For 8 years, it was quite a lonesome field. What does it mean? Nobody paid attention to that. Heinrich recalls. Got it? For 8 years, it was quite a lonesome field. Now, what is 8 years? That is period. 8 year is period in which oxytocin attracted little scientific attention. What is the word for little scientific attention? Exactly. They use the word quiet. Lonesome field. Absolutely. So for question number 16, answer is B. B for boy. See, unless you understand these concepts, these words, this type of vocabulary, this type of sentence and all that, you will not be able to solve it. So for that, you need to improve your English, your reading skills. What you read, you should be able to understand. And the best way is to solve IELTS reading tests. In the beginning, I used to say you can read magazines, you can read this and that and all that. But now I would only say solve the test. These tests will enable you. Like one test contains 3 passages. If you solve one test, 3 passages, each passage contains 800-900 words. Total, there are up to 3,000 words in 3 passages. So once you practice every day 1 to 2 tests, you'll be fine. You'll be very, very fine with it. Okay? Don't worry at all. Let's go on. Question number 17. Reference to people ignoring certain aspects of their research data. Okay, research data. Paragraph E, and it is the 3rd line. And the 3rd line says, where once researchers took no notice of such findings, and now a more nuanced understanding of oxytocin effect is prompting investment. A reference to people ignoring certain aspects of research data. What is the word for ignoring? Exactly. Researchers took no notice. And what is the word for research data? Findings. Absolutely. Very good. Question number 17. Answer is E. And again I tell you, For you, it might be beginning. Once you solve one test, another, third, fourth, fifth, these things will start to make sense to you, and then you'll be fine. It is not going to be done in a night, or you attended one reading class and thank you, sir, I'm fine now, I've got no issues at all. No, it's not like that, right? There's no magic way. You just have to practice. Okay, thank you. कैमरे के पीछे मुझे खुश होके देखा करो. पैड़ा जा मुँह, ठीक है आप शादीशुदा हो, अलग बात है, लेकिन मुँह तो सही रखो. हाँ, घर के प्रॉब्लम्स घर में. Okay. Yeah, this one, exactly. Good, very good. All right. मारो दे की हाल ने वधिया. Reading passage 3. Making the most of trends. Now, many students don't even reach here. They finish their 1 hour in section 1 and section 2. When it comes to section 3, they have only 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. They hardly reach this section. But if you manage your time, managing your time means doing the questions systematically, then you will reach here, and you should spend 25 minutes here. 15 minutes on part 1, right? 20 minutes on part 2, and then 25 minutes over here, right? Total ho gaya 1 ghanta. Maybe, yeah. So making the most of trends. They're going to talk about some trends and all that. Experts from Harvard Business School give advice to, it means in this passage, there's going to be expert advice to managers. So this article is meant for managers, written by experts in Harvard School, right? Making the most of trends. Questions 27 to 31. Multiple choice questions. Type A or type B? Type A. Okay, exactly. Multiple choice questions are type A. Let's go on. Questions 32 to 37. List of companies. Type A or type B? Type A. Questions 38 to 40. Complete each sentence with the correct ending. Type A or B? Type A. All 3 questions are type A. Basically, questions 38 to 40 is sentence completion with a list of ending. Half sentences in the question, half sentences in the options. So you can start from anywhere. Now all 3 question types are type A. So we start from multiple choice questions. Okay? Please be active and alert. Siddhe hoke baithe hain sare. Question number 27. In the first paragraph, the writer says that most managers. Now listen, look here. First, you will only read the question. And sometimes in multiple choice, they mention where you are going to read. So in the first paragraph, the writer says that most managers. Now listen, we go to first paragraph and we are curious, most managers what? Right? We go back and we see most managers what? First we'll find it there, we'll find the answer there, and answer will be given in 1 or 2 sentences. You don't have to read everything. You have to reach that part where they talk about most managers. Read that sentence. After reading the sentence, come back. A, no. B, not at all. C, maybe. D, no, never. C is the right answer. This is what we call elimination. You need to see, okay, A, for example, 4 options. If successfully in the first round you eliminate 2 options, your success rate is 50-50. And eliminating 2 options is not a big deal. Now let's go back. First paragraph, most managers. Okay, please come back. First paragraph, most managers can identify the major trends of the day. But in the course of conducting research in a number of industries and working directly with companies, we have discovered that managers often fail to recognize the less obvious but profound ways these trends are influencing consumers. So, we have discovered that managers often. When they say the word managers often, what does it mean? Most managers fail to recognize the less obvious but profound ways these trends are influencing consumers' aspirations and attitudes and behavior. Now let's come back. First paragraph, the writer says that most managers. Option A, fail to spot the key consumer trends of the moment. No, cross it. Option B, most managers make the mistake of focusing on one of the principal consumer trends. One of the principal? No. Now, success rate is 50-50. Option C, misinterpret market research data relating to current consumer trends. Not at all. Blindly, you can select D as the right answer. Why? Look at that. Are unaware of the significant impact that trends have on consumers' lives. Read that line again. Are unaware of the significant impact. Managers often fail to recognize, fail to recognize the less obvious but profound ways of these trends are influencing consumers' aspirations, attitude, and behavior. Significant impact that trends have on consumers' lives. What is the word for lives? Absolutely. Aspirations, attitudes, behavior. Got it? Yeah? Yeah, profound. Okay, let's go on. Yeah. अब खामोशी छाएगी. मैं नहीं IELTS करना. Okay? Question number 28. According to the third paragraph, they are so good. They are telling us where to go. According to the third paragraph, coach was anxious too. Now we don't know what is coach. It can be the name of a person, company, or anything. According to the third paragraph, coach was anxious too. That's it. Don't read the options beforehand. If you want to confuse your mind, then you read the options. Otherwise, never read options, only question. Now we go back and we look for coach. Coach was anxious too. Absolutely. We've got this there. Coach. And when you find the word, you have to read that sentence from the last full stop. So I'm reading it, a case in point. Found it? It's the third paragraph, third line after full stop. Everyone found it? Yes. Okay. A case in point is the Poppy range of handbags which the firm Coach created. Coach is a firm. And what did they create? Handbag, yeah. Okay, Coach created in response to the economic downturn of 2008. They created handbag in response to economic downturn of 2008. The Coach brand had been a symbol of opulence. Opulence means rich. Like, Nike is only for rich people and all that. Opulence and luxury for nearly 70 years. And the most obvious reaction to the downturn would have been to lower prices. However, that would have risked cheapening the brand's image. Instead, they initiated a consumer research project which revealed that and all that. Got it? What did they do? They created handbags, and the company was popular for expensive things and all that. Now, let's come back. Coach was anxious too. What were they anxious about? Have we read anything about anxious? Exactly, brand image. Come back to this. Coach brand had been a symbol of opulence and luxury, and the most obvious reacting to the downturn would have been lower the price. However, that would have risked cheapening the brand's image. So they didn't do that. Let's come back. Anxious too. Option A, follow what some of its competitors were doing. No, they did not talk about any competition or competitors. Cross this option. Option B, maintain its prices throughout its range. They did not mention that. Okay. Now, option C, safeguard its reputation as a manufacturer of luxury goods. Okay. Option D, modify the entire look of its brand to suit the economic climate. Not at all. Now we are left with option C, safeguard its reputation as a manufacturer of luxury goods. Come back. For that, what is the word? that would have risked cheapening the brand's image. Instead, they initiated something else. So they safeguarded their brand image, and for that they said safeguarded its reputation. Reputation means brand image. Absolutely. Question number 29. What point is made about Tesco's Greener Living program? What's the clue word? Tesco's Greener Living. And what point is made? You need to find the point about Tesco's Greener Living program. Now let's look for Tesco. Yeah, it's third or fourth paragraph? Good, fourth paragraph, and there we've got Tesco. All right, the question is, what point is made about Tesco's Greener Living program? So let's read Greener Living. Yeah, it's the third line. I'm reading it from second line. Please follow me. With that in mind, Tesco, one of the world's top 5 retailers, introduced its Greener Living program, all right, which demonstrates the company's commitment to protecting the environment by involving consumers in ways that produce tangible results. For example, Tesco customers can accumulate points for such activities as reusing bags, recycling cans and printer cartridges, and buying home insulation materials. Like points earned on regular purchases, these green points can be redeemed for cash. You know, when you buy some products from the companies, they give you some points. Like K&N, they offer some points if you buy products. So they did that. If you return a can, if you recycle something, they offer some points. Tesco has not abandoned its traditional retail offering, but augmented its business with these innovations. And what were these innovations? The point system and all that. Now, let's go back. What point is made about Tesco's Greener Living program? Option A, it did not require Tesco to modify its core business activities. No. All right. Option B, it succeeded in attracting a more eco-conscious clientele. They didn't mention clientele means customers. Option C, its main aim was to raise consumers' awareness of environmental issues. Not at all. That was not their main aim. Not the main aim was to raise consumers' awareness of environmental issues. Option D, it was not the first time that Tesco had. No. They didn't mention first time, second time, third time. Come back to option A. What point is made about Tesco's Greener Living program? It did not require Tesco to modify its core business activities. Come back. Absolutely, very good, you got it. Tesco has not abandoned its traditional retail offering, right? This sentence, Tesco has not abandoned its traditional retail offering. And what is the word for that? It did not require Tesco to modify its core business activities. What is the word for core business activities? Traditional retail offering. So the correct answer is A. Because its main aim was to raise consumers' awareness. They did not mention about their main aim there. Yeah, but that was not the main aim. The word main aim is not mentioned. Okay, let's go on. What does the writer suggest about Nike's strategy? Clue word? Nike. And by the way, you need to find writer's suggestion. What does the writer suggest about Nike's strategy? So where is Nike? Okay, next paragraph, 5th line. Is it on the next page? Good. Nike plus, okay. Now they're talking about Nike, and they're talking about Nike with Apple, right? So let's see, where do they talk about Nike? Writers about Nike. Okay, let's come to this, the last 3 lines, please. By combining Nike's original value proposition for amateur athletes. Found it? Okay, let's read this. All right. By combining Nike's original value proposition for amateur athletes with one one for digital consumers, the Nike Plus Sports Kit and web interface moved the company. This is what the writer is suggesting. Moved the company from a focus on athletic apparel to a new plane of engagement with its customers. Why? Because they had this website and all that. So just focus the last two lines. They say Nike Plus Sports Kit and web interface moved the company from a focus on athletic apparel to a new plane of engagement with its customers. Now let's come back. What does the writer suggest about Nike's strategy? Option A, it was an extremely risky strategy. No. Option B, it was a strategy that only a major company could afford to follow. No. 50-50, huh? C, it was type of strategy that would not have been possible in the past. No reference of past is given. Now you'll not just have your own assumptions. Okay, you just have to see where did they mention past. Option D, it was the kind of strategy which might appear to have few obvious benefits. Where do we have few obvious benefits? Now look for benefits, few obvious benefits. Absolutely. Yeah, the last line of the same paragraph. Yeah, come on, just search for it. Sorry, come again. All right. It was the kind of strategy which might appear to have few obvious benefits. So where do we have this thing, few obvious benefit?
Second last line. Digital consumer, the Nike Sports Kit and web interface moved the company from a focus on athletic apparel to the new plan of engagement with its customers.
That's right, absolutely. It was the kind of strategy. What about the few obvious benefits? Yeah, that's right. Moved the company from a focus on athletic apparel to a new plane of engagement with its customers. Now, basically, Nike is a sports company. So what did it do? Focus on athletic apparel to a new plane of engagement. So that had few obvious benefits. Why? Because Nike was a sports company, but they moved on to that website and all that. That had few apparel benefits. Okay. All right, let's go on to 31. What was original about ME2? What was original about ME2? Can you see ME2? Yes, sir. Good. All right. ME2. What was original about ME2? So, like the whole thing is about ME2. Now, just look for something which was original about ME2. Okay, can you see 2008? Yeah? So what was original about ME2? Listen, when they say what was original, originally what was it that the company did or created or made and all that? Let's read this one. It's the third last paragraph. The ME2 introduced in mid-2008. Right? The company introduced in mid-2008 catered to kids' huge desire to play video games while countering the negative such as associations with lack of exercise and obesity. Now let's come back. What was original about ME2? It contained technology that had been developed for the sports industry. No. It appealed to young people who were keen to improve their physical fitness. You might argue about this obesity, but no, they didn't mention appeal. Option C, it took advantage of a current trend for video games with colorful 3D graphics. No. It was a handheld game that addressed people's concern about unhealthy lifestyle. Exactly. ME2 introduced in mid-2008 catered to kids' huge desire to play video games while countering the negatives such as associations with lack of exercise and obesity. Now, there are some video games where you have to walk. You are wearing that thing and then you are running, and sometimes you are wearing the whole thing and you run and then you do like this and you beat your opponent. So this is what they did, and the answer is option D. Okay, now we do questions 32 to 37. Look at the following statements, questions 32 to 37, and the list of companies below. Match each statement with the correct company. List of companies, first we have Coach. Right? So let's go back. Where do we have Coach? Third paragraph. Very good. So that means answers can be here. And by the way, how many companies? 4 companies. And how many questions? 6 questions. So it means one option will be used twice as well. Like one option may be used twice as well. Okay, now let's start. They talk about this company here. Coach created. Mil gaya sabko? Third paragraph. I'm reading it from 4th line. Coach created in response to economic downturn. We read it already, by the way. Now you are familiar with it. The Coach brand had been a symbol of opulence and luxury for nearly 70 years, and the most obvious reaction to the downturn would have been to lower prices. However, what does it mean? They did not lower the prices. However, that would have risked cheapening the brand image. Instead, they initiated a consumer research project which revealed that customers were eager to lift themselves and the country out of tough times. Now, let's go back. Question number 32. It turned the notion that its products, and read the questions carefully because for other companies you need them. It turned the notion that its products could have harmful effects to its own advantage. Products could have harmful effects, underline that. Is this? No. Question number 33. It extended its offering by collaborating with another manufacturer. Who did that? Apple and? Write it down. Which paragraph? Which company was that? Nike did that, okay? So see that if you read carefully, you already know how to answer. Question number 33, answer is C. Now we come back. Question number 34. It implemented an incentive scheme to demonstrate its corporate social responsibility. Which company offered the scheme of points and all that? Huh? Tesco offered that. Tesco is which option? B. Write it down. Wow. See that the point system, if you use the cane and this and that. Wow, well done. 34, answer is B. And do one more thing. Cross 33 and cross 34 because we found these answers already. Question number 35. It discovered that customers had a positive attitude towards dealing with difficult circumstances. A. Well done. Why A? Come back. Customers had a positive attitude. Customers were eager to lift themselves and the country out of tough times. And what is that? That is positive attitude. So for question number 35, answer is A. And cross 35 as well. See that? How many answers have we found? 3 answers, right? Okay. All right, we found this answer. Now let's read on because they've said something more about this company. I'm reading on because one option may go with 2 questions as well. That's why I'm reading on. So using these insights, Coach launched the lower price poppy handbags, which were in vibrant colors and looked more youthful and playful and conventional Coach products. Creating the sub-brand allowed Coach to avert an across-the-board price cut. In contrast, the main companies that responded to the recession by cutting prices, Coach saw the new consumer mindset as an opportunity for innovation and renewal. See if there is any other question that matches with that. 36, it responded to a growing lifestyle trend in an unrelated product sector. Which one is that? Nike, absolutely. It responded to a growing lifestyle trend in an unrelated product sector. What was unrelated product sector? That was? Yeah, that was this Apple's watch and all that. Just come to this Apple's paragraph. Apple to launch Nike Plus. Good. So Nike is a sports company and they had collaboration with a tech company. Apple, digital, exactly. So for question number 36, it responded to a growing lifestyle trend in an unrelated product sector. Answer is C, and that is Nike. Cross option, question number 36 as well. 37, it successfully avoided having to charge its customers less for its core products. A, absolutely, Coach. Right? They did not change the prices, but they introduced some new products. So for 37, answer is A. Wow. What is left? 32. And what is it? It turned the, now you can scan it. It turned the notion that its products could have harmful effects on its own advantage. iToys, why? iToys, okay. All right, please come to third last paragraph. Let's find it out. Third last paragraph. A product that accomplished this is the ME2, a video game created by Canada's iToys. Company name is, and ME2 is a game. It's a product. iToys. By reaffirming the toy category's association with physical play, ME2 counteracted some of the widely perceived negative impacts of digital gaming devices. And they were also making digital gaming devices. And what did they do? Yeah, negative impact of digital gaming devices. So, what's that? Question number 32. It turned the notion that its products could have harmful effects to its own advantage. Now listen, a gaming company which is making video games, and then they come up with video games with physical activity. And then they said video games are bad, video games have this and that. Now you play video games with physical activity. So what is it? It turned the notion that its products, what was the product? Video game, could have harmful effects to its own advantage. And what was that? They created a game where there was physical involvement. Question number 32, answer is D. Okay guys, now questions 38 to 40, sentence completion, type A, right? Now what you have to do, you will read the question, and then after that you will find the clue word, go to the passage, and the remaining sentence you will have to find from the passage. Question number 38, please. If there are any trend-related changes, underline trend-related changes, the changes which are related to trend. You know, Nokia, it's no more. And Nokia was the pioneer in mobile industry. They did not change themselves according to the trends and all that. If there are any trend-related changes impacting on your category means your category of business. What is it that you should do? So trend-related changes impacting on your category. It's the last paragraph. And by the way, where you find one answer, and one more thing, you have to see which part of the passage is still untouched. You have to see a part of the passage which is still untouched. If you see here, we touched almost every paragraph. Second paragraph we did not touch. Okay, and then we've got the last paragraphs. And by the way, the clue word is here, trend related changes. So through scanning, you will actually reach there. Now what's the question? If there are any trend related changes impacting on your category, you should. Now you will find what is it that you should do. First you find it, then you come back. So please follow me. Once you have gained perspective on how trend-related changes in consumer opinions and behaviors impact on your category, now after comma, you can determine which of three innovation, actually there is a mistake here, correct it, which of your three innovation strategies to pursue. So what is it? You can determine which of your three innovation strategies, they have the wrong spelling of strategies, to pursue. Okay, please come back. Trend-related changes impacting your category, you should. Option A, employ a combination of strategies. No. B, identify the most appropriate innovation strategy to use. What is the word for most appropriate? What is the word for most appropriate? Which of your three innovation strategies, and for that they use the word most appropriate innovation strategies. Three and most appropriate, they are synonyms. For question number 38, answer is B for boy. Now please cross B. One option will be used once only. And as I said, questions and answers are in order. Now you know the rest of the paragraph contains the answers. Alright, so question 39, if current trend highlights a negative aspect of your category, you should. Option. Now first come to the second last paragraph. Let's read from here. If analysis reveals an increasing disparity between your category and consumers' new focus, your innovations need to transcend the category to integrate the two worlds. Okay. And finally, if aspects of the category clash with undesired outcomes of a trend, such as associations with unhealthy lifestyle, there is an opportunity to counteract those changes by reaffirming the core values of your category. Focus this thing, the last line. Just the last line here. Unhealthy lifestyle, there is an opportunity to counteract those changes by reaffirming the core values of your category. So if current trend highlights negative aspect of your category, you should. Now tell me which option. Core values of your company. It's option C, emphasize your brand's traditional values with the counteract and affirm strategy. Option C, brand traditional values. What is the word for that? Core values, absolutely. Okay, question number 40. If the consumer's new focus has an increasing lack of connection with your offering, you should. Consumer's new focus has an increasing lack of connection with your offering. I'm afraid this answer is before 39. Now you need to come in the middle of the paragraph. If analysis reveal, found it? Yes. If analysis reveals an increasing disparity between your category and consumers' new focus, your innovations need to transcend the category to integrate the two worlds. Option, use the combine and transcend. What is the word for combine? Integrate. Integrate. Yet they use the word integrate. Combine and transcend strategy to integrate the two words. Absolutely, D is the right answer. 38B, 39C, and 40D. Okay.